The Piston Peak Cars Land model has been shown. Everybody knows now exactly what's going in there. And places like Tom Bricker's Disney Tourist blog say it's going to win everybody over. There's just one problem. It's not. And I'm not won over, but I still like Tom. Here's what it says. A massive model of Piston Peak National Park in the Imaginary booth at 2026's D23 Expo reveals the scale and scope of the Cars Land, replacing Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island. Plus, spoiler alert, the Piston Peak National Model is going to win over a lot of die-hard Walt Disney World fans who were previously skeptical of the project. Not I, and I'll show you why. Here's the racers. Here's the pictures of the racers on their little mountain thingies, and it's supposed to look like dirt, even though it's not. It's not really off-road. And we got a picture of our little, you know what? Let's just go to the full model. Here you go, folks. Here's the full model. And to understand what we're looking at, this on the right side of the screen is Frontierland. This is Frontierland. And if we go all the way to the end over here, you would see where the lady is with the camera. That would be Liberty Square with Haunted Mansion over just to where the guy with the lanyard is beside her. Okay, that would be Haunted Mansion over there. Down in the bottom, you've got the splashdown of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And over to the left side, if we were to be on the left side, this will be where Big Thunder is. The problem with this, the problem among many, is that this giant mountain that you see, this white-capped mountain, is going to be plopped down right next to Liberty Square and the entrance of Frontierland. And the problem is, this is going to make Liberty Square and Frontierland look like Alaska. And that just doesn't work. That does not work for me one bit. All right, Ron, I don't think this fits. And the other problem I have is we've got all of this. And gosh, this might cost $1 billion when all is said and done to remove Tom Sawyer and Rivers of America and, level it all down and then put all this in. Like the amount of work and the amount of money and the amount of downtime for 2 attractions. And Ron, the Cars ride does not look interesting, and the other ride might as well be a dinky little carousel.
I don't know. I mean, look, this is Orlando, Florida. Do you know how few go-kart attractions there are? I mean, there's got to be less than 1,000 go-kart attractions in this tiny little area here in Orlando.
These aren't go-karts. That's how they tried to trick us, Ron. This is a slow-moving with a little pivot effect, slow-moving ride for little kids to ride around a mountain. This is the Tomorrowland Speedway with a ton of theming.
They have ruined. It's so hard to talk about what they ruined because, first of all, if they wanted to do anything like this, they didn't have to remove Rivers of America. We already know that. And the fact that they removed Rivers of America to put this in and the amount of downtime that there is and the fact that, who knows when this is going to open up and the fact that it's completely does not fit the theming of Frontierland whatsoever. I mean, it is a fictional park out west that is not in the frontier era of the United States. Frontierland was not just about a place, but about an era of time. That's why you have Liberty Square leading into Frontierland. Liberty Square was representing the founding of the United States, leading into the expansion west of the American frontier. That was kind of the whole point. And that was amazing Imagineering in the late 1960s into the 70s when, the park actually opened. And this is lazy, not just lazy Imagineering, but it's IP driven, meaning that you're only going to get so much usage out of it before it becomes old anyway. Like the thing about the American frontier, it never really needed to become old.
Timeless.
It's timeless because it's a piece of history. It's huge. This is so.
If Cars doesn't get like a Cars 4 or something, this is a giant area that is going to be totally dated. And we are moving into a new era technologically. I don't know that kids are going to be interested in Lightning McQueen and Mater as cars. Maybe I could be wrong, but
this attraction, right? They're off
to the side somewhere, but they're not what you ride and that kind of thing. But look, Erika, we've got this giant attraction that is a slow moving Tomorrowland Speedway that wraps all the way around this whole thing. And then we have this little spinny ride because Magic Kingdom doesn't have enough little spinny rides. And that's it. That's what you got for all of this. For all of this and for destroying everything. And they had the land to put it anywhere else they wanted because they have tons and tons and tons of land. This was always about getting rid of the rivers of America, not about what they would replace it with.
Yeah, I mean, it was another political decision. Let's just call it what it is. You know, it's exactly what happened with Splash Mountain into now Tiana's Disaster Bayou, you know. And more to come, you know, Carousel of Progress. It's the gift that keeps on giving with Disney.
Are you convinced, Erika? Because Tom Bricker says we're all going to be convinced, and you know the scope and scale. And I just look at it and say, actually, no. I'm not saying that Tom Sawyer Island was great. It needed to be updated tremendously.
Yeah.
But removing the rivers, and there's barely any water again. That you know, they went back, they showed us that concept art to get people to stop complaining, and now they put the model out there, and you say there's almost no water. So
yeah, it didn't need to be removed. They could have just updated Tom Sawyer's Island. They could have even rethemed it, renamed it into something different, but it's still keeping in theme with Frontierland and the whole story of America's frontier. But you know, that's not what they wanted. They wanted to erase it. And, you know, okay, so I'm going to play the devil's advocate here a little bit. The model, it looks nice visually. It does look nice. The ride system, I don't think it's going to be that slow of a moving ride, but I don't think it's going to be a thrill ride either. They
got to get 3-year-olds on it. So that's why I say... I mean, who watches Cars except like 3-year-olds?
Okay, but I'm hearkening back to the attraction Dinosaur, that ride system. Because
I would be...
I'm wondering if the ride vehicles have that kind of motion to mimic being on different terrains. If they have any sense, God gave a mule.
Mule is the kindest way to put that right now.
You know, that would be an interesting attraction of it by itself. And this is just me giving them credit. This is me playing the devil's advocate, you know, to bring interest into an attraction. I hope that the ride vehicles bring some kind of simulation of terrain to make it, you know, bouncy and a little bit of speed. But it didn't need to replace Rivers of America.
No, and it was always... It was always a choice that they were making of their own accord. It's never been forced upon them. I'll show this to people real quick. Let me share this screen. If we get on okay. So Eddie Sato, the legendary Imagineer, tried to save the way Frontierland works in Liberty Square for good reason, right before he passed away. And so his suggestion was that the river, the round here, the river that goes around by Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder, which... By the way, now Big Thunder and Haunted Mansion will be just side by side. They're so close, but the illusion was that they were not. It was designed that way. But he had said to keep the loop and then run the river up this way and around to the canal and out, and then fill in everything over here by Haunted Mansion. That would be plenty because the Cars land is going right here. The Cars land is filling the loop. Cars could have filled the upper loop. And if you did that, you would have still had 34 acres. 34 acres of land for villains and whatever you want to come up with. 34 acres. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to use that. They wanted to get rid of Tom Sawyer Island. They want to change. I think they'd like to get rid of Liberty Square, even if they're saying they're not going to. Those names that we've seen make me think that they're going to get rid of, you know, eventually. And they hate Frontierland because they think, well, no, that's actually indigenous land and we just invaded it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's for political reasons, for their own, their own misinterpretation of history, you know, and that's what they want to push. And
we didn't invade it. It was Mexico. We invaded Mexico.
Mexico paid us. All right, Ron, I'll give you the final word on this. As you look at it, your thoughts on the size of the Cars ride and what we are. I mean, I don't expect this to open until 2039. So the length of time that it's going to take to get this thing in.
Look, the fact of the matter is, I will never be able to see this without remembering what was there and remembering how good it was. And yeah, sure, they needed to update Tom Sawyer's Island, and maybe, I mean, you could have easily updated Tom Sawyer's Island and taken the Tom Sawyer part out of it and changed it into something else and kept a lot of the theming there. But it's just, I think this is ridiculous. I don't think it fits into theme. It just, and honestly, there's a real question: where else would you put this on Disney property? I don't know that there is necessarily a place for it. Maybe Hollywood Studios, since Hollywood's like the catch-all for anything IP related right now. But yeah, to me, this doesn't make any sense. They're clearly they want lightning lane, stuff. They want to increase the number of lightning lanes and increase the lightning lane revenue.
You don't think, Ron, they could have got 3 attractions in for all of this effort in this space?
There's got to be a place for the bars to go.
Oh, good grief. You got to drink your diesel, right?
Yeah, that's.
You better believe Villains Land is going to have bars. You better believe they're getting, yeah.
Yeah, no, I have nothing good to say about this. What am I going to do?
Some kids might like it, but in the end, the destruction they did was totally unnecessary. It's going to mess up Frontierland, Big Thunder, Haunted Mansion, Immersion, goodbye. So I'll be honest, I am more excited about Villains Land than I am Piston Peak.
I'm more excited for Animal Kingdom, the Encanto. I feel like out of everything that's coming up on the horizon, that's the one that makes the most sense.
Yep. And Rhodey's involved in that now. So I'm they need to get animals over there. They need to have capybaras or something. If they can get some animal exhibits, I think the Animal Kingdom thing could actually turn out pretty darn well. Pretty darn well.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.